podsters and podlars, and welcome to Cazza and Tracy Talk Gavin and Stacey. I'm Tracy.
And I'm Caroline, but you can also call me Cazza.
And we are here to talk about what's occurring in Season 3, Episode 5 of Gavin and Stacey. So with only 2 episodes left in this final series, I'm going to give a quick Tracy's précis to get us started. And we are on the home stretch, but there's still a lot to be resolved, including the awkward triangle of relationships between Smithy, Ness and Dave coaches. And of course, there's Gavin and Stacey's newly discovered fertility issues. When this episode opens, it's a bank holiday, so there's a nice twist to the opening phone call with Stacey ringing from work at Marco's van down at the beach and Gavin walking home from the shops. As he arrives home, he sees Pam and Mick pulling up outside Gwen's. They've come to surprise everyone with a visit and to spend the day at the beach. Smithy is making a surprise visit to spend the day with his mate, Gavin. So we do see Nessa and Dave in the van. The tension's high after Smithy's revelation that he and Nessa have slept together while Nessa was engaged to Dave. But for the most part, the action takes place down at the beach, where there's cool drinks, ice creams, Neil the baby's first sandcastle, and an Elvis convention. After the day at the beach, there's a barbecue back at Gwen's, complete with meat supplied by Dick Powell, Doris on guitar, and a reconciliation between Dave and Smithy. And it ends with a toast to Nessa and Dave. But underlying it all is Gavin and Stacey coming to terms with the news about Gavin's fertility, the sadness and the fear of that discovery, and what to do about it from here. So that's my little potted précis of the show, but what did you think it was about, Caroline?
Great précis, Tracy. It was. This is a lovely episode. All the beach stuff was so sweet, and it was so, I don't know, it was just so normal, just getting your chairs, doing the windbreaks, what do you want from the shop, all that sort of thing. I guess we're looking at the brewing of the split between Nessa and David, and of Gavin and Stacey coming to a place of acceptance, and just, I don't know, I thought it was maybe a little bit of a celebration of sort of British bank holiday beach behaviour. You know, this is what you do. You just do a little impromptu trip to the coast, to their terrible beaches, and just a different take on it for me. Even that they call it bank holidays. I love that the English call them bank holidays. What about you?
Yeah, I thought that too. I thought it was just this joyous kind of, the sun was out, as a bank holiday, we're all going to the beach. And then, you know, they have to hire umbrellas, and they're all squished, but everybody's so happy. In the UK, when it's sunny, there's no more joyous place to be than the UK on a sunny day. Watching it again now, what did you think compared to your first watch all those years ago?
I kind of thought they've really settled into a groove this season. So they know what they want to hit. They know the sort of jokes they want to do, the sort of dynamics. There was a couple of things that made me feel that I thought walked the line, but they were meant to walk the line, which was that joke about, you know, charging £5 for a chair, and these people coming over and stealing our jobs, and it turns out they're from the next Welsh town of Newport, not as Pam asked, Poland. And then there was the bit where Bryn sunscreens Mick for a very long time and all over, and I was so uncomfortable when that was going on.
I was watching that with my partner, and we both had to look away.
I had to look away as well. And nobody ever sets that boundary with Bryn and says, you know, like Mick tries and gets overridden by Bryn's determination. Oh no, skin cancer's a terrible thing. Pam just sits back in her chair,
rolling her eyes and laughing.
Well, but also I think that's one of the things, the Pam and Mick dynamic, is if one of them gets into a towels dilemma, for example, the other one will just sort of sit back and watch it play out and think, well, I'm not going to rescue you.
I just really enjoyed this episode. It's one of my favourites, I think, of the whole 3 series. And I mean, that might be partly because I identify so strongly with what Gavin and Stacey are going through. But it's just about this day at the beach, follow-up barbecue, but this issue's the undercurrent to it all. And we've all had those times when life's going on and it's this joyous time of being together, but you're carrying something enormous that's hidden and visible at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a great episode. I really enjoyed it too.
There's a lot going on at the moment. So what did you think in terms of their characters and their development or their arcs?
So I thought there was some really lovely stuff with Mick and Pam and just their little looks between each other, their little chats, because they can see how sad Gavin is. Again, it's not really overplayed, but they're so worried about him. So they're carrying that worry for him as well. And it just reminds me of times where I've been going through something and I've seen my dad looking anxious for me and all that sort of thing. It's lovely, and it's what happens. Stacey, again, I just love that she's the eternal optimist. Gavin walks down to the beach smiling because Mum and Dad have arrived, and she said, I haven't seen you smiling for ever so long, and just how glad that makes her, and she's having fun at working at the van with Marco and so excited that everyone's come to the beach. There's that stuff about there's a very small moment where Gav knows exactly how to handle Smithy, and I enjoyed it so much. So Smithy's going like, oh, is Dave coming to the beach? Well, I'll turn around, I'll go back. And Gavin, instead of talking him into it, says, yeah, you should turn back. And Smith says, what? No, I'm coming down. He can't stop me. And it was perfect. There's a couple of other things, but did you want to add anything?
Yeah, so there's the Gavin and Stacey stuff, obviously, but I thought you could also see tiny little glimpses of Nessa getting a bit of an insight about not only what her true feelings might be, but also that she might be having an impact on other people and that she needs to take some responsibility for that. She's always known she's having an impact on other people. She's always revelled in it. She's always stopped short of taking responsibility for that. But a couple of her looks with Dave and with Smithy, I think she's starting to think, I need to think about this a bit more carefully.
Oh, I hadn't picked that up, but now that you say it, I can really see that. Yeah.
Only tiny, but big, actually. You think about how little insight she has.
I did really feel for Dave, and I feel more and more for him.
Oh, so
he's
much.
He's really not allowed to have his feelings. He's
lovely.
Feel your feelings.
Yeah, and he's lovely, and I do feel for him.
And I also liked just that little thing that happened again with this sort of the sandcastle scene with Smithy and the baby and Nessa. And the way that Smithy was really like, this is going to be amazing, and Nessa's saying, don't get your hopes up. And I thought that was really just delineating the characters really nicely there.
Yeah.
And then that was one of my favourite jokes, is when he was doing all the special taps and building it out. And then he said, now Mummy's going to give it a special tap. And then she just picks it up and gives it the biggest, I don't know, something thud. Like, it's really hard and really emphatic, but also not special.
No,
but sort of special. I laughed and laughed.
That scene was lovely. The other tiny little character thing I liked was Gwen did stick up for herself. They get to the beach and Pam says, oh, this is lovely, but it might just because it's so nice. I imagine if it was raining, it would be a bit bleak. And Gwen chirrups, well, same in Billericay. And it's the first time I've ever seen her stand up for herself. And she does it in her little Gwen cheerful way. But
yes, go Gwen. Yeah.
What about things that warmed your heart?
Mick and Gav having that father-son talk, that was my favourite thing, I think. And Gav saying, I'm letting you down, you and Mum would be brilliant grandparents, and Mick saying, look, you're not at that brink yet, just it'll be okay, we'll work it out, and giving it cuddles, and I love that father-son dynamic. It's so beautiful. And then there's that beautiful little cuddle at the end when Gavin Stacey just sad and coming to a little bit of acceptance about it. And she just cuddles him and said, it's ever so sad, isn't it? And the way she said it, and it wasn't self-indulgent. It was just a comment on that this is a sad situation. And I really like that. Stacey can be so glorious, I reckon.
That line was my favourite.
Did you think there was a little bit of they gave a lot of time to Doris in this one, I thought, in a very sweet way, and it made me think, I wonder if that actress was ill or they knew. There was kind of a tenderness towards everyone to the Doris character and giving her those moments, and that just made me wonder about that. It was very sweet seeing her play the guitar and sing the Smiths. And
it was. I did think she did have a bit more of a role, but then she quite often does when they get to Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were sort of my heart moments as well. I mean, Smithy with Neil is adorable.
Oh, yeah.
I cried buckets after Stacey said it's ever so sad, isn't it? Because I actually remember saying something more or less exactly the same, where you just get to this point of something where you're not being self-indulgent, you're just saying it. I thought that line was pitched so perfectly.
Perfect.
It was. But besides that, I just thought generally all the love and the care that they're showing each other, not around the fertility, but also just the general joyousness of it was really heartwarming. Like we've said, it's the perfect bank holiday. The sun's out, you're all together, right from the minute when Pam and Mick pull up. And Bryn...
And they're so pleased with themselves.
They're so pleased with themselves. And Bryn's looking out the window because, what's her name, Glenda or whoever it is texting everybody.
Yeah.
It's just this whole beautiful... I thought the whole episode was one of the most heartwarming things ever. And I've written it down to remind myself to go back and look at it if I'm...
Yeah. And the barbecue too, when they're all sitting around outside in the barbecue, and there's Mick and Bryn sort of looking at the meat offerings of Dick Powell's, and then Bryn doing that terrible translation where the only word he knows is sausage. Because the Welsh for sausage is saucy, I think. I know that's... Mick's like, well, I can see what he's got. I'm looking at it.
And so I think, did you have a favourite line or scene?
Well, I laughed and laughed when Pam and Mick start discussing the sperm issue, and Pam can't say sperm, so she keeps swallowing. Well, okay, no pun intended there, but she can't even get it out. Oh, my God, this is a minefield to narrate. Go and talk to him about sperm. He is your sperm. I love that. That made me laugh.
He is your sperm was very good.
I loved that. It's just a really throwaway, and I think they were just very pleased with themselves with this joke, which was that Gav had sung about somebody's uncle, that they were the one ball of Wimbledon to the tune of the Wombles of Wimbledon, and that I loved that song. I've done tap dances to that with kids to that song, so that made me really happy. That joke. It was so stupid. There was no point to it. Didn't go anywhere, but it was a good joke.
Yeah, I think that's just one. They've had that in their little notebook for a long time, and here was a chance to use it.
I really liked the talk about the outdoor heating. It's one of those fantastic Gavin and Stacey conversations where that doesn't drive the plot forward at all. But somebody somewhere has had a conversation about that and said, let's put that in. And so Smithy's line, the one good thing to come out of the indoor smoking ban is the advancement in outdoor heating. I just thought, oh, that is brilliant. That is actually brilliant.
It was. And that was one of my I got that written down as a question for you. So anyway, that's no, because it was so good.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was really good. There were heaps of scenes I loved, and one of the ones that I just really laughed out loud was when Gavin had to go off to get the drinks, and Nessa says, I'll have an iron brew. And Gavin says, well, what if they haven't got iron brew? Nessa says, we'll go somewhere that has. It's the same. It's a nothing line, but I laughed so hard because it was it's just so in character and so well said. And Gavin just lifts his eyebrows in the same way that he always does.
And, I really loved Doris singing There Is a Light That Never Goes Out and them all joining in. I just really, it was just one of those moments where I was just sitting in happiness that a woman of Doris's age would be singing what I think is maybe one of the best Smiths songs ever.
The whole thing was just great, really great. Again, we've got no notes to the production team.
No, it's perfect. I did enjoy Bryn being Daniel Craig as he came out of the water.
It's hilarious.
And I also enjoyed that Nessa tells Dave that she and Smithy couldn't have done the things in bed together that she and Dave get up to because she didn't have her bag or her tools or her cloak.
The cloak was a nice touch. Well, that brings us back to that part of the show where we ask each other a question to see how well the other person's been paying attention. Now, no, we've only got a few episodes left to go, but I cracked down how to do this. So I've got a whole stack of answers to possible questions you might ask me. I've written them down.
Okay.
Yeah, but now I'm looking at them and they're a bit meaningless. So I don't know. Hopefully got like Jordan, Harry Potter, 20 quid. I don't know. Okay, so do you have a question for me?
Where did Gav guess that Smithy was when Smithy was going, guess where I am? Guess where? Guess where? What was the guess?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't remember. I remember that scene now. No, I can't remember.
He ended up guessing Upton Park, which was the home of West Ham Football Club.
Well, that wouldn't have registered with me at all. So my question is, how much did Smithy pay for his toll?
It's free now, isn't it?
No, not yet. It was £5.40, which they said which
used to be £5.10.
So, and I thought, and he didn't mention that it was an extra 30p, which I was kind of waiting for that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It must be a later episode where it's suddenly free.
I think it's free in the next episode.
Special.
Yeah, or the Christmas one. Yeah, by then.
Yeah. Oh, good question.
Yeah.
I didn't pick that one up.
I was sure you would. All right. Yay. All right, we've got just one episode to go, which will include, for better or for worse, Nessa and Dave's wedding and probably some development for Gavin and Stacey. So we'll be back very soon to talk about that, and I will talk to you then, Kazla.
Thanks, Trace.
Bye.